Hey everyone, we've got an awesome special today for all of you who want to discover the hottest games of 2025 that are already out there. Honestly, I couldn't pick just one, because the gaming world is experiencing some kind of creative slump right now. There's not a lot of truly amazing new releases, but I did my best and brought you some games that truly stand out from the rest. I'd rather not digress and just enjoy watching while watching. So there's this game called Mafia: The Old Country. It's like the Mafia coming back to its roots and putting together an awesome game in the classic Mafia essence. The developers took the time to go back to the roots and really made this one special, like the first and second parts. When it comes to the story, it's so engaging that you won't even notice the hours go by. Trust me, you'll be completely hooked from start to finish. You get to roll through the thrilling tale of the early 20th century Sicilian Mafia's inception. It's epic and can honestly be compared to the first two Mafia games' plots. For those who enjoyed the previous games, you're in for a treat because this one has cool stuff too. Like, horses can be used as a new mode of transportation. They've even added knife duels and an updated combat system, and you can also get special talismans that give you different perks. The cool thing is, I didn't really use these perks, but hey, you know what they say, who likes clams? They added new features to the gameplay, like offering a new mode of transportation, knife duels, and an enhanced combat system. And let's not forget about some pretty visuals. The game looks amazing. I mean, as a fan of the series who pre-ordered, I just gotta say, this is a must-have for all Mafia fans. Trust me, you won't have any regrets, especially if you've got a love for the first two games. It's perfect, with a captivating story, an immersive world, and fun gameplay. With a playtime of 15 hours, I couldn't ask for anything more. The beauty of the game is that it's not too short, even on the hardest difficulty level. I finished it in one go. So what are you waiting for? Grab this game if you're a Mafia fan. Trust me, you won't regret it, especially if you're a fan of the first two titles. It's fantastic with an engaging story, a gorgeous world, and super fun gameplay. The Altars. At first glance, The Altars is a classic survival game. You build a base, manage resources, repair equipment, keep an eye on filters and food supplies. But behind this technical facade, folks, lurks a completely different story. The game quickly makes it clear that you'll be surviving not just on an alien planet, but in your own thoughts, doubts, and regrets. We play as Jandolski, the sole survivor of a crew of a seemingly failed expedition. He is left alone on an aggressive planet under the scorching light of a deadly sun with a growing resource shortage and mounting despair. After contacting Earth, John receives an offer to use Rapideye, a unique local resource for a biotechnical experiment. First, he cloned sheep and then something more complex. With the help of a quantum computer, Yan gains the ability to create alters, alternative versions of himself. But each one is born from a moment in the past where he made a different decision. For example, he dropped out of university, joined the army, stayed with his father, didn't leave his girlfriend, took up science, and so on. And these decisions create completely different Yans with different personalities, psychological traumas, and abilities. Now they're with you on the same base, and you have to somehow manage them all and make sure they get along. Mechanically, it's a great mix of genres, but also very unusual. But the main thing in this game isn't building a base, gathering resources and other mechanics, but talking to your alters, that is, to yourself. They won't always be happy to appear. Some are angry, others are afraid, and still others feel they've simply been used. But gradually, through trust, support, and sometimes even conflict, a true understanding is born between them. The game poses very personal questions. What if, for example, you had taken a different path? What if you hadn't made that mistake? What if you, were different? And you will have many such questions. But what makes the Altars special? It's that you don't just create useful clones for survival. You accept yourself with all your wrong decisions, weaknesses, and failures. After all, who else knows you as well as your alternate self? In short, friends, this is another masterpiece from 11-Bit Studios. If you previously rated The Swore of Mind or Frostpunk highly, then you simply cannot help but like The Altars. So give it a try. So there's this game called Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater coming out next year in 2025. It's like this big Metal Gear Solid 3 rewrite, with fancy graphics using the Unreal Engine 5. This is a chance for fans to see it in a whole new light. plus introducing it to those who haven't met the original game. Those who know Hideo Kojima's work know that he's all about those epic cinematic moments. And guess what? In 25 years, it's a standard in gaming. Kojima started bringing this style to his games even before it became the norm, and with Metal Gear Solid 3, it's no exception. Right off the bat, you can tell the director's style is in place. Surely you know that these games are known for the attention to detail and cinematic quality. Now, in 25 years, it is pretty standard for game developers to incorporate cinematic ideas into their game design. Kojima is known for bringing this element to his game long before it became popular. As you play the game, you'll be amazed by how immersive and engaging the story and characters are. Metal Gear Solid 3 features countless movie-inspired details and thoughts from various philosophers. It's obvious the entire game was crafted by someone with an extensive and varied knowledge base. Even though the gameplay may feel a bit old school in today's games, it's still an excellent portrayal of stealth action. And even though certain game mechanics might be a bit limiting or outdated, this version brings a good sense of authenticity and accuracy to the original game from 2004, as Metal Gear Solid 3 is a reimagined game. You might notice some outdated gameplay, but trust me, it doesn't affect your overall experience much. The story, visuals, and all the different elements in the game haven. T changed a bit since 25 years ago, and they look epic still. And no matter if you're a fan of the series or not, whether you know the game or not, I totally recommend checking it out. Why? Because even though it's a simple reimagining, it's worth owning and playing. Snake Eater is such a fantastic way to reminisce about the series. Or even just for anyone else looking for an exciting introduction to Metal Gear Solid 3. And hey, don't forget, you can grab it at any price you like. It's totally worth it. I've heard a lot about Titan Quest 2 recently, especially since its release last fall. I've always had a soft spot for the game since it was one of my first forays into RPGs back in 2006. As it turns out, I was not alone in my adoration. The second part of Titan Quest is just as incredible as the first one. Like the first one, the gameplay revolves around exploration, combat, and leveling up your character. Of course, as is the case with any game that has been around for a while, there's a temptation to compare it to better known titles, but Titan Quest 2 stays true to its roots. Plus, the occasional glitch here and there won't ruin the experience for long. Visually speaking, while there are moments where the graphics might let you down, the overall effect isn't too distracting. With the occasional exception, they're a pleasant surprise. The game does miss some optimization chances, especially when it comes to later content. As for those curious about the game, I must say it is worth picking up if you enjoyed the first volume. The content is obviously limited at this point, but I believe the developers will be adding new material soon. Now let's just wait for them to do the same for the Russian language. So to wrap things up, if you've been a fan of the first installment, don't hesitate to give it a go. Right now, it's a great opportunity to grab it for a discounted price. And for those eager for an extra language option, stay tuned as it's a confirmed edition in the works. The Last of Us Part 2. So you know how good The Last of Us 2 is, right? It's more than just an awesome game. It's actually a legend in the gaming world, coming from that golden age where games were made by artists and writers and had those unbeatable PlayStation exclusives. PC Boyer finally gets a chance to play this masterpiece, and it's just gorgeous. Of course, if your video card can handle it all, the picture will seriously blow you away. The Last of Us 2 is this really deep emotional work, right? It's more like a piece of art than a game, the main goal of which is to share simple yet really important truths in a captivating way. How far are people willing to go for justice? And is justice really necessary if you have to give up everything, your friends, your family, and even just your own humanity? Basically, is the game worth it? The narrative seems like it might be a bit harsh, but it actually adds to the provocative qualities of the story. I bet you can't disagree with me that there's no real reason to hate the game just because of this. No, I don't want to justify the narrative myself. It's more like something that should not affect my opinion on this game at all. I just want to say, it's something that should not influence whether I play it or not. Honestly, I just can't imagine not playing this great game. When you consider Ellie's decisions and Abby's not really looking at her looks, you realize that these characters have their own lives here. They make you feel for them, support them, and even disagree with them, and that's what makes them so memorable. I seriously hope every single one of you checking out this game. And hey, don't be scared that The Last of Us 2 might tug at some unexpected emotions. I just want everybody to enjoy this fantastic game. But time's flying by, and that 25-hour adventure here is going to be amazingly more meaningful than tons of other gaming experiences that are popping up now and then. So, friends, give this game a go, even with all the debates going on online. So I've gotta say, I love the prawns. Whether you're into those nostalgic police detective games, or if you're just drawn to the atmosphere of the 80s, the game perfectly captures the crime scene of the time, the whole 80s vibe, character interactions, and even the way people dressed. Totally swoon-worthy. Each scene you encounter is detailed and carefully crafted, making you feel like you truly are a detective in the midst of it all. I mean, seriously, from the dimly lit city streets to the police stations, everything is so lifelike. The developers were true to the era in every way, from lighting to textures and even the character styles. Plus, the gameplay is super engaging. You aren't just following a line of dialogue, it's about getting to decide crucial points involving your character's development and their every move. The plot does take some time to unveil, with each revelation leaving you eager to learn more about the criminal scene and the lives of the everyday policemen. The dialogue is supernatural. You just can't help but laugh out loud at some of the witty comments the characters make. Every character stands out with their own personality traits and driving reasons. Some might say it can be a bit too realistic when it comes to the darker aspects of the job. But don't worry, there's no cussing in here, and the difficulty rises as you get closer to the end, so you have ample time to get the hang of everything. To wrap things up, The Prawns is more than just a simple indie game. It's a brilliant piece of art, blending vintage vibes with top-notch gameplay. If you love police work and the essence of that bygone era, don't miss it out. Give it a solid 9 out of 10. Tainted GR Falone. This game, is one of those hidden gems. I'm sure many haven't even heard of this game, and it's flown by unnoticed. But it's a wonderful RPG, the spirit of good old games. It's a mix of Skyrim, Gothic, Fable, Dark Mia, and so on, like a good old RPG that we remember with warmth. For me, this game was a brilliant discovery of 2025, and without exaggeration. Perhaps even this is the game of the year. Not only does the game incorporate the best we know from other action RPGs, but it's also very original with a very interesting lore and plot. Besides, yes, the weak technical state, it will be very difficult to find any flaws in it. Perhaps only the third act is extremely weak. Up until a certain point, you completely forget that the game is even slightly connected to Arthurian mythology, because quests begin where you have to help different tribes. And overall, the third act just doesn't seem to belong in this game. Well, that's understandable. There are few games where the third act holds the same level as the previous acts. But I still wanted to point this out for you. Besides, it already recoups its $20 price tag and the time spent in the first act. And by the second, you're already thinking about how to donate all your money to the developers, just so they don't stop at this part of the game. Overall, guys, the game is magnificent. I didn't believe that in our time, it's possible to create a project out of nothing that would be head and shoulders above anything that's come out in the last 5 years. Music, design, setting, plot, characters, dialogue, and quests. Everything is top-notch here. The downsides, I repeat, are the weak third acts and poor technical condition. And perhaps there are some questionable aspects to the location design. But again, it's all a matter of taste. The verdict on the game is this: if you're a fan of action RPGs, especially in the style of Darksea Scrolls or Gothic, you absolutely cannot miss this game. You will enjoy it, but that's 200%, especially since it costs $20. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I played this game, guys, from beginning to end, including completing absolutely all the side quests. Simply put, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the benchmark for modern RPG games. In my opinion, absolutely everything about it is perfect. Let's start with what first catches your eye. Well, of course, it's the graphics, guys. The graphics are excellent, and the optimization, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I played in 2K resolution on high graphic settings, and the game delivered a stable 90 plus FPS. At the time of my playthrough, I had an RTX 4060. If you remember, the first game, unfortunately, didn't have that upon release. The gameplay here is extremely varied, well thought out down to the smallest details. You will definitely never be bored in this game. It's worth understanding that the game is unique, non-casual, with an emphasis on historical accuracy and realism. The minigames are also a joy, including forging, alchemy, and pickpocketing. The combat system here isn't just clicking the left mouse button. but a well thought out mechanic with combos, dodges, and an understanding of what's happening as a whole. The main plot is gripping, intriguing, tense, and interesting. Being a continuation of the first part, it logically concludes the story. However, it still leaves questions and food for thought about how the fate of Henry and the other characters will unfold, what they will do after the end of the game, but perhaps we'll see all of this in the third part. The side quests are a separate narrative. I don't recall a single boring or tedious quest. Even a short side quest is a whole other story. It reminds me of The Witcher 3, you know. There too, the side quests were just as good as the main quests. And you know guys, I think that's precisely the recipe for a perfect game. A good main plot plus excellent side quests. That's the key to a successful RPG. Overall, friends, this game is a shining example of what modern games should look like. Like the first game, I absolutely loved Kingdom Come 2. It was an amazing journey through medieval Bohemia, but it still has one major drawback. The game tends to end, which simply makes you sad. In my humble and subjective opinion, I would give this game the highest rating, a 10 out of 10. So I recently picked up the game, Eriksholm's The Stolen Dream, and let me tell ya, it's got a ton of style and looks going for it. From the eye-catching art to the buzzing cityscape and chatty townsfolk, it's definitely a game you fall in love with easily. The setting is fantastic, and seriously, it has a certain vibe similar to Dishonor, but not quite as dark. The plot is engaging and well written, making you feel totally involved in the story. Plus, it's an open world project, so there's some fantastic exploration to enjoy. However, I'd love for it to have a bit more of a sense of logic in the end. You know, something that would make sense given the rest of the story. But even so, it's pretty okay since this is an early access game and part of a new studio's debut. And hey, I'm particularly proud of the character development given the limited time we had for them. Those cutscenes really immerse you and the story. Gameplay-wise, I can't say I mind it too much either. This game leans more into story-driven gameplay rather than tactics, which is what I typically find myself enjoying in games like Baldur's Gate. I mean, sure, you could go deep in tactics, but it's almost as if the game is there to propel the story forward. And honestly, there's a solid storyline here. Well, to give you an example, there is Baldur's Gate. Considering it's only a third of the way through, I'm already sure I'll get hooked onto it again. I mean, it's like their gameplay is meant to keep me engaged more than anything else. I just wish they'd incorporate more depth with varied playthroughs and, you know, longer running time. I mean, there's a solid foundation for a sequel out there, right? No offense, but I think you're all guilty of saying no to turn-based games when I talk about DOA in this game. Seriously, with such a fantastic story and a gameplay experience that feels like it suits the narrative, I can't help but feel excited about a potential sequel. Maybe with more content and diverse gameplay choices, longer running time, and a proper focus on the storyline from here on out. Who knows, we might be in for an amazing gaming experience in the future. So I've heard about this new Assassin's Creed game called Assassin's Creed Shadows, a latest addition to the fantastic series, and honestly, I get pretty fed up with hearing about it before it's even released. Let me tell ya, I don't really get the whys and wherefores of many of the complaints. To me, it's just a big mess. It's got all the same great features found in the series, like that wondrous open world with breathtaking landscapes set in this awesome feudal Japan. Everything about this game is just gorgeous. Many fans have been craving Japan for years, and Ubisoft has taken them to their hearts with this breathtastic world. The game feels alive, and with nature being incredibly beautiful, cities are detailed, charming, and filled with life. There's an authentic touch to each place, like it truly feels like feudal Japan. Regarding the game's optimization, Ubisoft really nailed it. It runs without any issues or crashes on any device. If you have an older horror, please try setting scaling to get better graphics. The gameplay in Assassin's Creed Shadows is fantastic. Playing as Yasuki, it was kind of unique at first, but I quickly adapted to its gameplay style. And you know, I don't care too much about his skin color. Naoya, on the other hand, is a standard character for the series we know. But still, the game keeps you engaged and entertained. Plus, she's super pretty, which I love. I mostly like the overall plot. And yes, guys, I'm happy to say that some historical inaccuracies don't bother me too much. I enjoy the story for what it is, a game with a plot after all. Regardless of whether they found a black samurai in Japan or not, who cares right now? Alright folks, Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't just an awesome game, it's this year's best one too. This is a case where you can see that the developers are finally putting some work into their creations. A cool game setting, well-developed gameplay, efficient combat, impressive graphics, and flawless optimization. What's the matter? You've got everything you need. You know, I really appreciate giving this series another chance. If you're still on the fence about whether to play this or not, just give it a shot. I think you'll like it. Hey, I just wanted to mention that I recently watched an awesome Obscur Expedition 33 video by Ubisoft. A bunch of their employees turned out to be awesome game developers instead of just being desk clerks. And you know what? I think it could actually be great for them. With fewer people working on this game, it might allow them to focus more on making it perfect. It shows that even though they're a big company with lots of people, they still care about the games they make. I don't want to get into a debate about whether or not these guys are good at what they do, because that's subjective. But what I do know is that everyone deserves a chance at creativity, at expressing themselves, and at making something that actually makes people happy or enjoyable. All this comes down to being honest with the game they create and putting in the effort and passion. Once you get to the end, you'll see that this game is more than just mindless fun. It's about experience, storytelling, and the emotional connection between you and the game. When I see people talk about how amazing Obscur Expedition 33 is, I just want to say, thank you so much. But you guys didn't just make a game. You made something that's real, something that everybody can see and feel. From the graphics to the music, everything you've done here feels genuine. And that's not just because it's created with Unreal Engine 5, it's because you've really poured your heart and soul into this beautiful game. Thanks for the atmosphere, for the honesty, for putting all your effort into this game. To all the Obscur Expedition 33 team members, this game truly changed some of us. If you haven't gone on an adventure yet, go and do it. See how it affects you emotionally and personally. Then come back and let me know how it made you feel. I hope that I can offer my thoughts and this message to the people responsible for creating such an amazing game. So here's a little background on Hollow Knight's Silksong. Even though I can't say much more without spoiling anything, I started playing it recently and it's just captivating me with its casual yet epic feel. Don't get me wrong, it's as much fun as the original, but with a charm that makes it all the more enjoyable. I loved how adaptable the game really was. The early stages could have used some tweaks, but overall, I'm impressed how well it keeps its unique identity and adds a fresh edge as you go further. The way the combat system became more diverse isn't a surprise, but it really helped set the stage for an enjoyable experience. One thing that really piqued my interest was the changed mechanics for fast travel, which I believe everyone noticed. They even nailed down this little flaw, though I have my doubts if it's that effective. Let me tell you this, I'd say Hornet's not any faster than the Hollow Knight. No, she's just more adaptable. You can tell this especially in early levels, the levels change quicker than before, and that's really helped make the experience fresh. Plus, I'm a fan of how the environments blend familiar vibes from the first game with its new twist. Take the example of unlocking fast travel. You need to beat the boss instead of just tipping the fee. Of course, the enemies are just harmless, but I must say it's odd to see this change. You know, your run with the downward slash with a nail looked quite meaningless in terms of strategy. The downside though? It makes little sense when compared to the new mechanics. Don't get me wrong, the new mechanic is interesting, but to me, the old one felt way more effective. So friends, if you've missed Hollow Knight, you should play Hollow Knight Silksong. It's like a nice upgrade. The servers are doing their best to welcome you all, and I think it's the ideal chance to dive into this delightful game. I've already jumped in, and I'm totally enjoying it. To my fellow viewers, thanks for watching till the end, for all your support, and for being a fan. I'm truly motivated. Take care, stay fit, and don't forget to cherish the people around you. Don't forget about loved ones. Break a leg.